Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Up the Guts podcast. Joining as always is your host, Trent Dialton. And finals footy has finally commenced, the first round of finals. And geez, how good is finals footy? We know that once they get into finals footy, it's the best 8 teams in there. But not only that, the pressure goes up a notch, and that makes such good viewing. We see who are really capable of handling the pressure, who's not. We see the type of players that stand up in big moments, and it's just the best few weeks on the calendar, in my personal opinion. As for today, how we're going to do, obviously we're going to review all the games, but we're also going to go over some news, just some contract news, some trade news that are bubbling around there. So first off, let's kick off with some news that are bubbling around the AFL world. Right, so Kickstarters also, as from last week, it was confirmed that while the Saints are on their own, like chasing of players, Bulldogs are reported to be chasing Callum Wilkie, the current vice captain of the St Kilda Football Club, as a key defender stock. They know that's one spot where they really lacked these past few seasons. And Liam Jones isn't getting younger, and by all means, Liam Jones wasn't even in the best Luke Beveridge's best 23 by midway through the season. So they're going after Cal Wilkie, and Rory Love's not a trustworthy enough person there. Obviously, he's a natural forward, so he has been a good fix there for moments, but he's not a player that's going to fix all your problems down there. So it's said that they're offering him 4 years worth, just under 4.5 mil across the 4-year period. So it's around about 1.1 mil a season. So be interesting to see where there. I don't see Callum Wilkie moving anytime soon, but he could maybe consider with some of the other recruits that have already been confirmed that we'll go over right now as well. So first off, we kick it off with Jack Silvani has chosen St Kilda as an unrestricted free agent. So he'll leave Carlton and walk straight over to the St Kilda Football Club. Obviously, his dad, Stephen Silvani, is the list manager there. Would have had a big say in that. It was thought that either Collingwood or the Western Bulldogs were the front runners for him, and St Kilda joined the party late. We know the war chest that the St Kilda have, and it's worked in their favour. Speaking with Connor, if you're a regular listener, you'll know, just for referencing Connor, although it looked like he was really considering Collingwood, he would have almost been disowned by his family, being of Carlton roots. Going to the rival of Collingwood, it would have been a hard one to go back and explain to the family. So he has chosen St Kilda, and it's really good for the Saints down there. I think he's really found his own now as a key. He's a role player, but now a genuine key defender and intercepting defender as well. That is not where it stops for the St Kilda Football Club, as Liam Ryan has also chosen St Kilda as an unrestricted free agent, so another small forward there to add to their tally state to go along with Jack Higgins down there. I think it's another good pickup, and Saints just keep getting better. More recruits from Cruz. Obviously, it was reported that he was waiting to see when Nas signed before he came across and made a decision to request that trade to St Kilda, and since Nas has signed, he waited till the end of the season and confirmed that he will be going to St Kilda, and I think he'll be a really good pick up for them. Just another bit of class, bit of X factor. You never know what he's going to do, flying Ryan down there in the forward line. So it'll be interesting to see how they use him. Obviously, forward line now of him and Jack Higgins in the 2 pockets. And who was I trying to think? I went to call him something else. My man, I've forgotten his name because I'm thinking of someone else. No, I'm thinking of someone else who I commentate's name. This is really pissing me off. Let's have a look. Max Hall, who I'm thinking of, will play that half forward role. Darcy Wilson, that wing half forward role. Mitch Owens is already down there. He plays as that tall, but can play as a medium-sized forward as well. Mason Wood, I really like when he pushes forward. So I think the Saints are looking really good going into next season. And it didn't stop there either, as today it was confirmed key defender from the GWS Giants, Leeka Lear, has requested a trade to St Kilda. It was just too much of money to refuse. Knock back. going by, I think it's rumored to be about 650, 700, and there was no way the Giants were going to be able to offer that. He wasn't already getting a regular game there to start with. So he's requested a trade over there to get a regular spot. He'll be alongside Cal Wilkie. Obviously, with Josh Battle leaving didn't help them, St Kilda, so Cal Wilkie down there. Now Jack Silvani down there as well. So it'll give probably Jack Silvani that opportunity to take that third tall, or even allow Cal Wilkie to take the third tall and one of them break off to be that intercepting role. So that's really good signs. And with all this recruiting, I think, and before I touch on that St Kilda, it's Finey from the SCN came out and said that it is rumoured that Marcus Windhager, if St Kilda don't up their offer, will be joining Melbourne, requesting a trade to Melbourne. Excuse me. Requesting a trade to Melbourne, and it's been knocked on their head today, but I'm going to watch this space with that one. I don't think Marcus Windhager is going to go anywhere. Best friends on Cy Wanganeen Malira, and I think it's one that they really need to keep. But he also does fit what Melbourne need. They need a fresh, young midfielder who isn't just one pace, like Chris Machar, Clayton Oliver, Jack Viney. They're getting too old, and they're just refusing to play Trent Rivers the midfield minutes that he deserves. So if they were to get Marcus Windhager, I think that would be a really good pickup for them, but I don't see him leaving either. And that goes without saying, with all these pickups and saying, I think it's written in the stars now that St Kilda will play finals next year. They not only have they got these recruits, but I was really impressed with their young players coming up. I mentioned Max Hall. You've still got Mitch Owens there. You got Darcy Wilson. You got Alex Taru down there. Mateus Philippou when he can get his body right. There's so many I could wheel off. Obviously Nas off that half-back line, but now playing midfield time. I think they've done well the way they've built up their young players. They've drafted well. So they got Max Hall as a rookie, I believe, out of the VFL. Or they drafted him at least out of the VFL system, the Box Hill Hawks. And now they've built up this war chest and they've gone after the players. They got Silvani, they got Ryan, they got Alir, they've got the signature now of Nasai Wanganeen Malira. They'll be hoping to get the signature of Windhager, but I think it's written in the stars now that St Kilda will play finals, and it's really exciting times, I think, to be a Saints supporter going forward into 2026 season. So well done to St Kilda football, and well done to your Saints fans. I'd get excited if I was you. Another one that was happening today, Jewish giant Jacob Weir has requested a trade to Port Adelaide. Obviously, struggled to find a game. They do rate him, I've heard, but just struggled to find a spot, a regular spot on that team. It's actually quite it's actually quite warm up here. I don't normally get warm up in the studio, but it's actually quite warm here, so I'm going to have to roll the sleeves up a bit here. But yeah, he just struggled to get a regular spot down there. Towards the back end of the season, though, we did see him play a bit more footy for the senior side, but it obviously Port Adelaide, it's just allowed him some more opportunity to play off that wing or midfield role. So it's just allowed him some more opportunity, so he's done that. Another one that was talked about from Fremantle that could possibly be looking for a trade had also struggled to find a regular spot, but then in the senior side as a midfielder, but then would go back and tear it up in the waffle. Has found a spot in the team in the back half of this year. Obviously, Fremantle season is now over. But that's Neil Erasmus, and good news for Fremantle supporters, Neil Erasmus has signed on for 3 years. I think there's some really good talent with Neil Erasmus there, and he's shown it in the back half this year. I think he's put together some really good footy. For the Freo Dockers, all being their season is over, we'll touch on that game soon. But I think that's a really good sign for the Dockers that he's hanging around for another 3 years. And to round it off, West Coast Eagles, Campbell Chester has requested a trade to Carlton. Now, this was rumoured about a week ago that this might happen, but he hasn't been able to also find a regular spot for the West Coast Eagles. Hasn't been able to get his body right. Hasn't been able to get his body right down there, and yeah, so there's not much really to say about Campbell Chester because we haven't seen. Why I'm stuck on it, because we haven't seen enough of Campbell Chester. He's a first-round draft pick, but has the talent, but just hasn't been able to get his body right and string together some footy. Hopefully he can get that at Carlton, but I don't think the West Coast Eagles will be too disheartened to see him leave. I know the fans aren't. I've seen some Twitter posts. They're not too disheartened with him leaving, but he's definitely a talent that Carlton can work with down there. So that's all the news that I have got at the moment. Now let's get over to reviewing all the finals games from the weekend. Let's go. We kick it off with the first qualifying final between the Crows and the Magpies, and it was the Magpies getting it up by 24 points. Everyone said they were too slow. They were too old. They had been found out, obviously coming in to the finals not in very good form, but they found a way, and their pressure was up to another level. And I think the Crows might have just got in there 1 year too early. We'll see, obviously, this week, but this could either dishearten the Crows, this loss, or it could be the kickstart that kicks them back into gear going, no, we're going to keep going and we're going to see them back at grand final, or whoever, we're going to go all the way this time. And maybe this is the kick in the butt they needed. They haven't got Rankin there, but they need to try and move on without Rankin. As I'm just looking here now, Tom Morris has reported, although Campbell Chesser has requested a trade to Carlton, it says Carlton do see Campbell Chesser as a best 22 player in their side going forward next year, and the Blues have a 2-year deal on the table for him. So that's that. But yeah, maybe they need to try and move it on without Rankin. Obviously, if Rankin was to play again this season, they have to make the grand final. So they need to try and make that, find the way out. But as for the game itself, I thought Pedler was really impressive for the Crows. An inclusion into this finals game, and was probably one of their real main threats down there in the forward line. Provided some really good sparks, some really good lead-up patterns, worked hard. He kicked 3. Walker and Thilthorpe also kicked 2. As for the Pies, Elliott kicked 4. Sidebottom just keeps on going. He kicked 3 as well. Nick Daicos, Lipinski, De Goey, and Cameron all kicked goals. As for disposals, Worrell was everywhere. 26, 8 intercepts, 8 rebound 50s, and 548 metres game. While Laird played a bit more midfield time without Rankin there, with 24 disposals and 6 clearances. Jordan De Goey is back and fit and firing. And when Jordan De Goey is fit and firing, it's a different look in Collingwood. He's an impact player. He's someone you want the ball in the hands with centre forward, because you know he's going to make scores happen. He had 26 disposals, a goal, 7 tackles, and 6 clearances. Just going to make sure everything's still going. Yes, it is. Josh Daicos also had 24. Well, Nick Daicos also had 24, a goal, 8 score vomits, and 7 tackles. The man who got the best on-ground performance, though, with the 10 coaches' votes in the Gary Ayres medal for the best finals player, was the skipper, and it was Darcy Moore. Geez, it was a shaky start, though, when he played on, was caught in 2 minds, then dropped the ball, turned it over, and allowed Jordan Dawson to go through and kick a goal. I thought, oh no, we're in for a long day here. If that's the type of stuff we're going to have happen, on the kind of errors that are going to happen. But then he just turned it around from there. We're a true captain's game. 13 disposals, going at 85% efficiency. He took 10 marks. 9 of them were intercept marks and 13 intercept possessions as well. But the 9 intercept marks is the most intercept marks taken by a player in a finals game. So he was just absolutely like a brick wall down there. Played mostly on Walker. Well, Walker did kick the 2. I thought Dustin White, hands down, won that battle. Just his positioning, his reading of the ball was really good. So I was so happy and impressed with that as a captain's game, because the last month or so when Collingwood's form had gone down, he'd been one of the ones they put under the firing line as the captain who had dropped off the form, and he's just hit back and done a game like this. This is the type of game we know Darcy Moore can do, and he needs to be able to do without Jeremy Howe down there. So it was a really impressive performance. We mentioned Jordan De Goey. Nick Daicos' ball use and decision making was unreal. Thursday night. He didn't have he still had 24 disposals, but he didn't have his 30s. But what he did have, he weaved in and out of traffic, and then made just the right decisions and set up targets. Obviously with the 8 score involvements, he just weaved around and made the right decision to hit the targets, and shown why he's probably one of the better ball users in the competition when he's allowed to play on the outside, not having to play on the inside. So having Jordan De Goey in this team to play as that inside-outside player, and allowed Nick Daicos to be the receiver rather than the person who goes in and gets it, and allows him to use the ball going inside forward 50, or even the transition coming out of the back half, has been really crucial. So I was really impressed with that. But a key moment, again, it was Scott Pennery, who was cool under pressure. I was so impressed, and he was untackable. The way he makes the game, we talk about it so much, makes the game slow down, spins in and out, always keeps himself composed, doesn't look rushed, and was just making the right moments. Looked to play a bit more midfield, but behind the ball as well in that last quarter. 8 disposals at 100% efficiency in the last quarter. Absolutely phenomenal. And he's Collingwood now who get that week off into a prelim, a home prelim. And the ballsy move by Craig McRae was to play Mason Cox in this game. And I thought it worked out to be a really good decision. Mason Cox didn't hit the scoreboard. Only had 8 disposals, but what he did, he created a contest. Yes, he gave away that 150-metre penalty. Quite silly, that one. But I thought he wasn't outstanding, but we don't need him to be outstanding. All we need him... I keep saying we because I'm a Collins supporter. All they need him to do is create a contest, and I think he did exactly that. He created a contest at the ball, fluid everything. Eventually, they will stick, but all he has to do is create a contest, brings it to ground level, and allows the likes of De Goey, Elliott, McQuarrie, Sidebottom, Schultz, Schultz, Lipinski, Nick Daicos to get in amongst it. So I thought he was quite... Oh no, the stat sheets might not say. I thought he was influential on the game, so that's a big tick in my books for Craig McRae on that inclusion, because it was a ballsy move and it has paid off. Now we head over to the second qualifying final between the Cats and the Lions, and it is the Cats who have booked themselves a home prelim final after beating the Lions by 38 points, 16-16, 112, defeating 11-8, 74. Dempsey was electric off the win. He had 3 goals to go along with 25 disposals. Levi Ashcroft played a fair bit on him, and he just couldn't keep up with him, so much so they had to take him off the wing because he was just allowing him to run wherever he would like forward of the ball. Jeremy Cameron kicked 2 as well. Close Holmes, Neil, Smith, Bowes, Martin, Blixars, Mullen with his first AFL goal, De Koning, Stewart, and Atkins. And it's the most, what's the word? It's the most, most individual goal kickers. I think I've read in a final series before. So like they've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so 13 individual goal kickers. I believe I read that's the most out of all final series. So that's really impressive to you how much they spread the load. It's not just Jeremy Cameron. Rayner kicked 3 for the Lions. Lohman kicked 2. Dunkley, Bailey, Cameron, Berry, Fletcher, and Morris all kicked 1 apiece. We mentioned Dempsey had 25 to go on with 3 goals. Holmes was also electric. With his running carry, 23 disposals, a goal, 6 tackles, 5 clearances, 630 metres gain, while Bailey Smith also had 22 to go on the goal. The Lions, they didn't have not much of the ball. They had their fair share of the ball. It's said to be said, like, if we look here, Zorko, 35 disposals, 83% efficiency, 11 rebound, 50s, and 776 metres gain. Neil had 32. Dunkley had 30 to go along with 11 tackles and a goal. Will Ashcroft had 36 tackles, 3 goal assists. Zach Bailey had 27 at 82% efficiency, a goal, 6 clearances, and 7 score runs. So they just weren't able to match the pressure done and the class by the Geelong Football Club. The big talking point out of this game was the umpires. And obviously it's going to be talked about with Cam Rayner's flopping, but I thought the Tom Stewart one was just as bad on Kyle Lohman. That made me really actually want to throw up. He hardly got him. He pushed him off the ball. You're allowed. I always say, I'd hate to be a defender in the AFL right now because there is so much you can't do. You're limited to what you're able to do. It's such a forwards and midfielders game, the way one-on-one, in a one-on-one sense. Because you can't do anything. You just, you can't lock up. It's just so touchy. I just don't know what they could possibly do anymore sometimes. You do one thing and then they pin him. If that's what's going to happen with the Tom Stewart one, that's disgusting. Like, you may as well just play touch footy at that point. But the Cam Rayner one was literally nothing in there. And then obviously getting the double goal. We've had a discussion before in my household. But if there was a free kick after a goal is kicked, why is it they get another shot on goal? Why isn't it not that they have the free kick from the centre circle? and restart play, why do they automatically get another shot at goal? I get it. It's the punishment you play, but I'd love to know the theory behind that, because sometimes they get it from there. Is it purely because it's in the forward line? But then it should just reset play and probably take it from the center circle. Mind you, if you're on your team who gets it, you don't mind it. But what are you guys' thoughts on that? I think it's an interesting topic to talk about with that one, because you get both sides on that. For people coming from those sides. But a bad thing for the Brisbane Lions is it's a season over for Lockie Neal, who's injured a calf, already was coming in underdone on this game, and just proved that the work he had missed was just clearly, he was just coming underdone. His body just wasn't right to it. Obviously coming back from a groin it was, and now injuring his calf. But same for Eric Hipwood. His season is over. It's said that he was playing on a tear in his ACL for 16 weeks. That is phenomenal that he was even able to do it. I know everyone's been tough on him in the seasons he's had, but as we just look here, it's a Cole Shadir. Actually, we'll hold that for the Hawthorn game. Yes, we'll hold that for the Hawthorn game. So I got my D&D on, but I've also got Twitter notifications on, so anything that flies through, I can get off the bat to you guys straight away too, as this will be dropping tonight on Monday night as we are recording this. But that's amazing that he was even able to get out there on the park, and he didn't even know it was an ACL tear. So credit to him to be able to do that. But sorry. It's amazing that doctors didn't pick up on that when they went for scans. Cats 4 goals before halftime really put a statement on the game and probably put the game to bed. It was really good that they were able to compose themselves other than the umpires in that first half and still come out and dominate the game. I think at the end of the day, they dominated with their class, their spread, and just the toughness around the ball. It was way too good for the Lions, and they are I said this prior to the finals, they were my pick to go all the way and take the flag, and it's looking pretty good at the moment if we're going to get those type of performances. So well done to the Cats. Brisbane will have to go again next week. And we kick it off with the first elimination final, and both these elimination final games were absolute rippers, and it was the Hawthorn Football Club getting the job over GWS Giants and moving on to the semi-final by 19 points. The Giants 13-10-88 defeated by Hawthorn 16-11 107. Goal kickers for the Giants, you had Hogan kick 3, Kelly and Bedford 2, Jones, Riccardi, Callahan, Thomas, Briggs and O'Halloran all kicked 1 each. As for the Hawks, Gunston, McDonald and Ginnivan all kicked 3. Chol kicked 2 after having a quiet game, but kicked the 2 in the last quarter. Really turned it on then. Dean, Newcombe, Amon, Watson and Butler kicked a really, really crucial goal when the Giants were coming after holding the ball. Decision. As for disposals, Whitfield, 36 at 81% efficiency at 627 metres gained. Callahan was enormous. Shared the best on ground votes with John Newcombe for the Gary Ayres medal, both getting 8 apiece. He had 34, a goal, 8 tackles, 6 clearances, 8 score moments, 833 metres gained. Tom Green also had 34, 12 clearances and 7 score moments. Ash had 28 to go along with 9 inside 50s and 805 metres gained. And I mentioned that he shared the best on ground honours with Finn Callahan, but John Newcombe was an absolute bull, really turned it on for the finals when they really needed someone to be able to match it with the midfield of Green and Callahan. He had 32, a goal, 12 clearances, 2 goal assists and 8 score moments. Jarman Impey's had a seriously good season as well, 28, 10 rebound 50s, 8 inside 50s and 960 metres gained. The Hawks came out firing with a 7-goal opening term, but the Giants didn't go away without a fight. They kept coming and put on for a really good game. And that was off the back, I think, of Finn Callahan. He's such a serious talent. I've said it a few times this year, and I'm sure plenty of people have. Now I see why the Saints were so invested in trying to get him across on that big deal. We'd seen him play, but we hadn't seen to the levels he played this season. He's shown why he was offered that contract. And he's a serious talent going forward. He running carries, an absolute explosive athlete, and he gets meters gained and uses the ball well too. I mentioned when they needed a mid to stand up, it was John Newcombe who stood up. Josh Kelly obviously came on as the sub and had a huge impact. Obviously, thoughts go out to Darcy Jones, who ruptured his ACL in the second quarter. That's when Josh Kelly came on. So thoughts go out to Darcy Jones, but it allowed Josh Kelly to come on for a huge impact He had 18 disposals at 89% efficiency. He kicked the 2 goals and also had 9 clearances. So while Darcy Jones went down the ACL, it's good to see we got to see Josh Kelly still has it as we go forward to 2026. And it looked like that Jack Ginnivan really, he's having some exceptional second half of the year after getting dropped by Sam Mitchell. He's really come on and since then been such a threat in the forward up. And what I love about him is he's getting consistent ball. He's getting high teens possessions now, even into 20s. Like on the weekend, let's have a look. 3 goals, 17 disposals, 6 score involvements, a clearance, 4 inside 50s. But it's the 17 disposals and 3 goals. I'm really loving him doing that. And he gets up at the high of the ground now. And obviously, that's something Collingwood probably didn't notice the work rate that he had, but I'm really impressed on them. And it looked like he was putting the game to bed with 2 goals in the third quarter. But then after that, the Giants came on and piled 6 goals in about the last 10 minutes in the third quarter, and it was really game on. The Hawks had to go in and have a breather. The Giants then came out and kicked the first goal of the last quarter to tie the game. I was listening to it on the radio on the home back, on the drive back from Yarra Junction from the game I was calling. And I was like, could the Giants actually do it? Because I did tip the Giants. But then class holds out, and it was, there goes my phone. It was the Hawks who were able to hold on, and accompanied by Chol, really, kicking 2 goals in the last quarter. So really impressed by the way Hawthorn could do it. Did it, helped by John Newcombe. Connor McDonald was exceptional with 3 goals in the first half as well, and how good was it to see his dad get really up and about, passionate bloke. That was great scenes as we saw back in the rooms, but if we get this Hawks, there's nothing that they can't do. I think Adelaide is where they lack is also where Hawthorn lack. It's both through their midfield. I reckon the Hawks have just as good as midfield as Adelaide. It's Jordan Dawson or Jake Sluga or bust for the Adelaide Crows of that ranking. And Jordan Dawson isn't a high disposal getter. He's an impact player. So you shut Dawson out. I think you go a real long way. If I was Sam Mitchell, I think he would be thinking of it. Obviously, Dawson's a big body midfielder. I'm not necessarily pushing the tag to him, but I'm going head-to-head with him with Connor Nash. Connor Nash is 198 centimetres. He's a big body. He's over 198 or 200 centimetres. He might not even be playing. No, here he is. He's 198 centimetre mid. So that's what I'd be doing going with him, because if we go look at Jordan and Dawson, I believe he's 190s. Yes, 190 on the dot. Head-to-head with Jordan Dawson. Or you might even see John Newcombe or James Warple go head-to-head with Jordan Dawson. But you shut him out, I think that will go a long way, but we'll touch on that in the preview episode. But there's no reason why the Hawks can't beat Adelaide next week. As I was talking about the tweet I wanted to say for this game, it was early concerns around Colsha Deer's hamstring. And now it's confirmed. It's a low-grade hamstring for Deer, but he will miss this week, but not ruled out for the season should the Hawthorn progress. So I think this means Mitch Lewis will come in because Sam Mitchell does like playing the 4 tools and then normally subs one out. He'll bring probably Mitch Lewis back into the side, kick 4 goals in the VFL final, which they won after the sign, thanks to Bodie Ryan's kick. Absolute scenes down there. But I think this just means 1 tall goes out and 1 tall comes back in. So it's not the end of the world, but thoughts go out to Deer. Missing it. You never want to be injured coming into the final series. And then the game of the round to round it out, the elimination final number 2. Do you believe in fairy tales? Because the fairy tale continues. The Suns get the job done over at Optus Stadium where Fremantle are nearly untouchable. No one would have tipped the Suns to be able to go over and beat Fremantle in Perth. But they have done it by 1 point thanks to an inspired performance by David Swallow. And obviously, Mac Andrew kicked the goal before it, but David Swallow, what a moment to have the ball in his hand, starting off as a stub, and the only inaugural Sun left in their team. And it was just great scenes to see that there. So Fremantle 12-7-79 defeated by 11-14-80. Voss kicked 3 for the Dockers. Dudley and Tracy kicked 2. Was really impressed with Dudley setting up in some key moments. Obviously, they didn't get the job done in the end, but he was really impressive. Kicked some 2 clutch goals in the third. Amos and Jackson also, Amos, Jackson, Reed, Bolton, and Erasmus all kicked one goal apiece. As for the Gold Coast Suns, I don't know how I've left him off, but I know for a fact he kicked 3. If we go here, know for a fact he kicked 3 because he kicked them all in the first half. Yes, all in the second quarter. So King and Humphrey kicked 3 apiece. But along Butterick all kicked 2. And Fiorini, Davies, Farah, and McAndrew, as we mentioned, kicked 1. As for disposals, Sarong did the best that he could. 35, 21 contested, 13 clearances, and 9 tackles. Brayshaw started off the game really strong and finished it reasonably strong too. It just wasn't enough. 32, 6 clearances, 6 tackles, 2 goal assists, 9 scorers, and Young also had 28 and 7 clearances. G's, Noah Anderson and Matt Rowell are just probably arguably the best 1-2 punch in the comp right now, bar maybe Bailey Smith and Max. No, I'm going with these two. 34 for Rowell, 6 clearances, 11 inside 50s, 10 score involvements, and 638 metres gained. Anderson, 32, 8 inside 50s, 11 score involvements, and 753 metres gained. We mentioned the fairy tale continues, but the Freo tried their best to come back. They were 26 points down in the final term, and then they piled on some goals. Jackson piled on 1, and we saw them coming in. They hit the front, and we thought, oh no, could this be it? They brought 4 consecutive goals, and then capped up by Luke Jackson's mark, as you mentioned, to take the 6-point lead with 3 minutes 21 to go. So what does Damien Hardwick do? He backs in his man that he knows can pull up in clutch moments. He's done it before against Essendon after sign. He sends McAndrew forward, and then he takes a beautiful leading chest mark and then goes back and converts from about 35-40. But just, you got to understand, while it didn't look like such a hard kick, the moment and situation that he was in was never going to be easy. And he's gone back and absolutely just put it straight through the middle. So that was great to see. And then David Swallow did have his goal overturned to a touch, which in the end worked in their favour because there was 9 seconds left on the clock. There is still time to get a centre clearance straight off the back, get it down there in a mark, and they would have been kicking after the siren Fremantle. But the touch worked in their favour because there was no way they were going to go coast to coast in 9 seconds. They would... Gold Coast Suns just went man on man and just locked it down. The person who lit up the first half, though, was Bailey Humphrey, especially in the second term where he kicked 3 goals. Funnily enough, in our commentators group chat for the Outer East, my co-commentator Aidan messaged me, good day to be a guy named Bailey Humphrey, hey, because we had a Bailey Humphrey kick 3 goals in the first quarter and 6 for the day. Then we get home, put on the elimination final, and Bailey Humphreys kicked 3 goals in the second term. So just a little funny there, we thought. But not only did the fairy tale continue, but we farewelled a legend of the game in Nat 5. It doesn't go on to say how much of a great player Nat 5 was. He will go down as a legend. He'll be in the Hall of Fame. 248 games, 175 goals. 2-time Brownlow medalist, 2015 and 2019. 2 times Lee Matthews Trophy winner, which is the AFL MVP, 2014, 2015, so he won it back-to-back. He's a 3-time All-Australian, 2014, 2015, and 2019, he was named the captain. He is the Doog medalist, which is the Fremantle BNF, 13, 14, 19, so 3 times, and he was a 2011 AFL Coaches Association Best Young Player of the Year. So, well done, Nat 5. Have a career. When Nat 5 was in his prime, he was no doubt the best player in the competition. Just tough around the ball. Could take a really good mark, and he'll go down as one of them, if not Fremantle's best player the club has ever produced. It's out of him and Pavlich. Let me know in the comments who do you think's had the better. If you had to pick out now that the career is over, if you had to pick out who is the best player for Fremantle in the club's history, who are you taking? Are you taking Nat 5 or Matthew Pavlich? I'm stuck because the fact that Nat 5 has the 2 Brownlow medals. Matthew Pavlich was an All-Australian in all positions on the ground. He was an All-Australian as a key defender. He was an All-Australian as a midfielder. He was an All-Australian as a key forward. I believe he's the only player to do that, and that's an amazing achievement. But then Nat 5 has the 2 Brownlows. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Who would you be taking? Who is 1 and who is 2? Is Matthew Pavlich 1 and Nat 5's 2? Or is Nat 5 1 and Matthew Pavlich is 2? And if that's the case, who would you have in that 3rd spot as well? Let me know in the comments and there. But it is Gold Coast who go through and keep the fairy tale continuing there. We'll preview all of that, the semi-final action, Adelaide and Hawthorn, obviously Adelaide Oval Friday night, Saturday night, Brisbane Lions and Gold Coast in the Q Clash, and what a big Q Clash we have set. But we'll preview that on another day there. Thank you guys for watching, and geez, it's good to have finals footy back. I don't know if you enjoyed it as much as I did, but it's just that pressure goes up a notch, as I mentioned. But thank you guys for listening. If you did enjoy this episode and are listening to this on watching this story on YouTube, make sure to leave a like and comment, turn the notification bell on so you don't miss when we upload, and hit that subscribe button. If you're listening to this via Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure to leave a like and comment, hit that follow button in the top corner, turn the notification bell on, and if you share this off to a mate, and if you did really enjoy this show, guys, it would help a lot if you leave a 5-star rating, as that does help push the show out there. Thank you guys for listening, and until next time, I'll see you guys then.